how was Bitcoin started? I mean, it started on the blockchain, but how, do you know how that actually dated back, how that happened? Do you have any theories on any of that you could share with our viewers? If you desire not to share, we don't have to do that on air, but I'm just curious.
No, I'm happy
It's always
to.
interesting to hear people's take on it.
Yeah. You know, really, the concept of blockchain and distributed ledger technology first appeared in like the 1970s, around the same time that the internet was starting to come into play. And you know, obviously the internet came first, but cryptography and decentralized technologies were being talked about mostly by a guy named Hal Finney back in the 70s and 80s. And a lot of people think that, this isn't my opinion, but a lot of people think that Hal was part of the creation of Bitcoin.
I've seen a lot of, the same.
And I'm sure even if he wasn't Satoshi, he influenced the direction that Satoshi or the group that became Satoshi took in order to create Bitcoin.
Because when they say when Hal became ill, that's when Satoshi pretty much disappeared, right?
Yeah.
So it could be a coincidence or it could be planned so that people think.
It's true. And he was also the first person to receive a Bitcoin transaction.
Correct, yes.
So
yes, I remember that.
I'm a developer, right? The first thing I always do when I'm building a new technology is I send something to myself, or I make the thing with myself, right?
Yes.
To test it out.
Or to a friend, hey.
Or to a friend, a
or
close
it could be
friend.
a group of them, you just never know.
Exactly. Maybe the developer who sits next to me at the office or whatever. So that's why a lot of people think that it's Hal, but no one really knows. No, I mean, maybe somebody does, but.
Yeah, true. I mean, and in this world of information and technology, we don't know.
I know, it's one of the great mysteries of life, right? It's like Banksy. Who's Banksy? But somebody does know, right?
Yes, absolutely. That's true. That's a good point. Somebody knows, but they're sworn to the grave.
That's right.
Non-disclosure to the core.
And they have the money to prosecute that.
Absolutely agree. That's cool. It's always interesting to find someone else's take on it because, you know, we go to these parties, we go to events, we go to everything crypto, blockchain related, and everybody has a different theory.
Of course.
Everybody has a different theory.
Yep.
You know, and a large scale of the audience does watch my show because, as you know, a lot of my show is entertainment, it's real estate. We don't do much on crypto. We've only been divulging into this for the past year or so.
Okay.
So there are a lot of viewers watching who don't really know what we're talking about, but they want to learn.
Sure.
So I think it's important to start, you know, talking about the beginning and the basic foundation, what we've been discussing so far.
Yeah.
So, yes.
I think that's the most important thing, to be honest, is take a first step, start to learn about it, and understand like the fundamentals behind crypto and behind blockchain, right? Decentralization, actually distributing consensus and things like that that make it fundamentally sound. A lot of people will jump right into a Robinhood or a Coinbase, but those things are, while they're very accessible and they're very easy to use for the most part, they aren't really structured the way that cryptocurrencies and blockchain are fundamentally built upon, which is decentralization. When you give your money to a bank, what happens? Your money is the bank's. Right? It's owned by the bank.
True
the
that.
same thing happens when you put your money into a Coinbase. Coinbase actually holds as a custodian your Bitcoin or your Litecoin or whatever coin that you are investing in over there. That's why it's always important to look at other wallets, start to learn about the coins that you're investing in, and start taking control of that actual money, putting it into a self-custody wallet, right?
Great, yeah, I love that. That's a good shout. So that takes us back to Divi.
Yes, it does.
It does, which I like. No, that's why we're here. We're here to learn about blockchain, about crypto, but we're also here to talk about Divi. I mean, you wouldn't be on my show if I didn't want to promote you.
And I appreciate it. You know, I'm not really one to shill necessarily, but we've built something that of course I'm biased, right? But I feel that my bias is justified because ultimately the reason that cryptocurrency was created was to escape the centralized nature of banks, to some extent governments. I'm not an anarchist by any means, but what I'm saying is the banks have abused our money for a long time.
Yep.
They utilize it against us in many cases. They lend it fractionally to people. I mean, they're using our money.
Correct.
And they charge us to use it.
Correct. No, you're absolutely right.
Right. So we built a company that is focused on that fundamental basis, which is you own your money. You have the keys to your coins, right? The private key is always in your hands. We never hold that. I don't want to hold it. It should always be, the money that you hold should be owned by you. That's kind of just our focus.
Tell me about Divi Pay.
Divi Pay. So, I mean, our app is called the Divi Wallet, you know, sometimes called Divi Pay. It's a payments ecosystem. Much like you might see like a Venmo or PayPal or something like that, except again, it differentiates from PayPal and Venmo in that the money that's being transmitted across borders or across the street is actually owned by the people that are, it's peer-to-peer.
Right, okay.
So it's like me handing you $1 or a dirham, right?
No interest.
No interest, but you can also earn money within the wallet.
Right, so tell me how to earn money.
So if you
in
buy Divi,
Pay.
you can actually go in and at the click of a button, all you have to do is have enough Divi in your wallet. You can start with 1 Divi for 30 cents or 3 cents, whatever it is today. You press the button, and you're actually helping to support a blockchain network. You're helping the consensus